Hello students, in this session of topic which we are going to see is also a very important main topic. Nowadays we are discussing very important topics which are all repeatedly asked in exams, right? So by that basis today we are going to see about a topic of abortion, how to interpret abortions and how can be the questions asked, and the clinical relationship between the concept and the questions they have been asking, and how to predict the answers for those questions. So these are all the things which you are going to see today in this session of topic, in which a very frequently asked topic in an obs and gynae, that is a topic of abortion. So starting from this, we would be discussing many topics in further on of our sessions, but still today we are going to see about the topic of abortion. See, what is the definition? In that definition, if you remember in our antepartum hemorrhage, when we are discussing about that, we have seen definition of age of viability, right? What is the age of viability? See, age of viability is, as we know all, that it is 28 weeks, right? So if at all the age of viability after that, if there is a bleeding, then we were saying that it is antepartum hemorrhage, right? So same like that, but still some corrections in the definition. See, the death of fetus, as such it is abortion. So the death of fetus before age of viability okay, before the age of viability of 28 weeks, that is literally considered as our abortion, right? So death is more important that. And also we can say there is intrauterine fetal demise. There is intrauterine fetal demise. So by both ways we can say that we can define the abortion as definition. But please remember one thing, that is 28 week, which is the age of viability. So in that we are going to see what is the most common type of abortion. Please remember always, most common type of abortion is your isolated abortion. Isolated abortion, please remember. Now, the most common type of abortion. So these were all the very few things which you could get confused, but you should not confuse at any cost. That is most common type of abortion. If they ask, that is isolated abortion. Okay. So if they ask most common time of abortion, either in the first trimester or in the mid trimester or in the third trimester, then your answer should always be first trimester. Okay. First trimester abortions are the most common abortions. And if they ask you most common overall abortion, each and every word makes much sense. So please remember, most common overall abortion is nothing but your chromosomal abortions. Okay, chromosomal abortion. So if any anomalies regarding chromosomes, that will lead to chromosomal abortions. So here I have divided two things, means in most common chromosomal abortion, either 50% of that will be of first trimester. Please note it down. So remaining 30% that will come in your second trimester. Okay, so this is what shows in your, these all questions are already been asked in exams, even in your centralized PG exams, in our FMG exam, everything. So you just note it down. If they ask most common type, then the answer would be different. If they ask most common type, then also the answer would differ. So in most common chromosomal abortion, the very important and most common would be aneuploidies. There is a chromosomal abnormalities, that is aneuploidies, in which trisomy is most common one. Trisomy is most common than monosomy. Okay, trisomy is most common than monosomy. In that too, in monosomy, especially monosomy X, in which they have 45 chromosomes, right? In trisomy, if at all we are saying, that is 16. Trisomy 16 is the most common in overall chromosomal abnormalities. So please notice down. So this is what important regarding the basic questions. If they ask, they can ask you in clinically means as a case as well, which we will see in a further discussion now. So next, while speaking about the abortion, there are many types of abortions, but still these two abortions are being repeatedly asked, and the most common causes are also asked many times. So speaking about spontaneous abortion, what can you say about the spontaneous abortion? This spontaneous abortion is none other than called as our isolated abortion. Okay, isolated abortion. So what you can say about this, for example, there is a single episode of abortion. It is nothing but single episode of abortion. Means apart from that, the patient or a woman will not give any complaint. Just once in a while she might have abortion in her whole lifetime. So that comes under spontaneous abortion, or else it is happening for the first time, right? So in this spontaneous abortion, the most common would be trisomy, and just now we have seen in most common trisomy, that would be trisomy 16. Please note it down, this question was also asked. So most common trisomy response for spontaneous abortion is trisomy 16. Please remember. And if at all you are speaking about recurrent abortion, what does it recurrent abortion mean? Means more than or equal to 3 times of abortions consequent. 3 times of abortions, and that too consequent abortions. Clear? So in that, most common cause of first trimester and most common cause of second trimester I have given, right? So in most common cause of first trimester, most probably it would be idiopathic. Please remember, if they ask you in the abortion, if they are giving you in terms of weeks, gestational weeks less than 8 weeks, in the terms of first trimester, then you should think about idiopathic. Then apart from this, the next common reason would be immunological. Okay, immunological cause, right? So same like that, in most common cause of second trimester of recurrent abortions, the second trimester abortion would be, yes, uterine anomalies, especially cervical incompetence. So in next discussion we will be seeing about cervical incompetence, but still please understand and remember, in second trimester they will be asking you the most common cause of your abortion, that is also recurrent abortion, that is cervical incompetence. So there were another causes are also there for your remembrance of second trimester causes, and that involves, please understand and please notice down, because this will be in your exam as a clues as well. So for this, your mnemonic to remember is CAD. Usually we understand CAD as coronary artery disease, right? So that CAD along with 2H. So what does all these mean? C means any congenital malformations of uterus. Any congenital malformations of uterus. Okay? Yes. So what about A? A is nothing but APLA, antiphospholipid syndrome. Okay, so antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, APLA, comes in also here, one of the main cause in second trimester abortions, right? So apart from this, what does it D mean? D is nothing but your diabetes in pregnancy. And then the 2H here, remembers, one is your hypothyroidism, and the another H belongs to your hyperprolactinemia. So these are all the things which they can give you as a clues. Please understand and please notify. These all can be given as a clue in your clinical cases when we are going to solve a question. So these should be very remembered carefully. CAD2H, congenital malformations of uterus. It could be anything. It could be cervical incompetence. It could be diadelphys. It could be any related congenital problem or abnormality of the uterus. Antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, right? And diabetes in pregnancy. Apart from that, we have 2H, that is your hypothyroidism and hyperprolactinemia. So after that, see here, some uterine anomalies are also given, in which there is complete and incomplete anomalies are all there. See, in complete and incomplete anomalies, incomplete agenesis, see, totally there will be inappropriate development of your uterus will be there. One. In unicornuate, can you able to see this and appreciate in the screen? Unicornuate means only one part of the uterus and only one side it was developed. It is also a kind of a congenital malformation of uterus. Again, the next one is unicornuate with horn. What does it mean by unicornuate with horn? See, unicornuate uterus is developed, but apart from the other side, when they were about to develop, but there is only horn left over there. That's it. Now, uterus diadelphys. What is uterus diadelphys? See here. You can see two things. Two uterus means a partition of uterus is there. In between, you can able to see a much of space. If you can able to see this much of space in between the two partition of the uterus when it was getting developed, that is nothing but your uterine diadelphes. Please remember, this is also a most common kind of a congenital anomaly of uterus. Now coming to the complete bicornuate, see, uterus almost it was completed, but still a few part of a gap is left over here. So that is why we are calling it as bicornuates. Can you able to see the corns, 2 corns? So that is nothing but your bicornuate uterus. We'll see separately about uterine anomalies in another session, but still to give you a little idea about how the uterine anomalies are there, I have given you this pic. So it will be very easy to understand the uterine anomalies also and why it is the reason of abortion also. So you can able to see bicornuate uterus here. So 2 horns are there. And you can see partially bicornuate means it was developed nicely here, means a whole partition of uterus is developed, but especially in the upper part there are 2 divisions. So that is why we are saying partial bicornuate. So in the next step, see, septate. So the uterus is completely developed, just a septum is left over in between. So see here, the whole of your uterus is developed very nicely, but only a one line, that septum is different. So this image based question has also been asked in your exam. So be very thorough in these kind of images and try to notify what are all the importance within them, right? So it is a septate, the whole septate is there. Septum means division is there between your uterus, but the uterus is wholly developed. See, in partial septate, what is happening in partial septate? Only half a kind of a division, means in whole septum, half a septum is left over. So that is your partial septate. See, these all are a kind of a complete and incomplete malformations where we have agenesis problem, or the half of the uterus is finely developed, half of the septum is finely developed, half of the septum is left over. So by that way we are giving fusion defects, formation defects and resorption defects. So the first 3 which comes under complete agenesis, unicornuate with horn comes under formation anomalies. So this diadelphes, bicornuate and partial bicornuate comes under fusion defects. During fusion it is having a defect, it is having a problem during fusion. That is why the whole of the uterine morphology have been changed, right? So that is what the problem is. In resorption defects, you can see the septum in between, the divisions are different over there. So that is why the septum is here. See, in the arcuate, what happens in the arcuate? It is also a kind of a very common defect. This is also a common defect. You can able to see an arc over here. Can you able to see this? Yeah, only that is defective here. Apart from that, everything is clear. No septum, no horns, nothing. So this arcuate is also a kind of a uterine anomaly. So the next thing about abortions, it is a kind of an embryonic abortion. So what does it mean by an embryonic abortion? Means, for example, if at all you are speaking about an embryonic abortion, there will be blighted kind of a ovum. So if you can able to see, there will be blighted ovum. Gestational sac will be there. Okay, gestational sac will be there, but no yolk sac will be there. Please remember, that is why we call it as an embryonic abortion. So no yolk sac or no embryo will be there. So how could you find this? So you can able to find this by ultrasound. In ultrasound you can able to see the gestational sac's length, right? The gestational sac's length. How it could be? It could be more than or equal to 25 mm gist, but the main important thing is you could not see any sac, the empty sac you can see. So that is the one important thing which you can able to see in your an embryonic abortion. So how could it differentiate between your embryonic abortion? See, in embryonic abortion, what can you say? In ultrasound, you can see the embryo. So that is one difference. Embryo is seen. So next what happens? You can see the crown rump length. CRL, crown rump length, that is more than or equal to 7 mm. The crown rump length will be more than or equal to 7 mm. And one more important question in embryonic abortion is because no cardiac activity. Even the embryo is present, there will not be any cardiac activity in your fetus or in the sac. So embryo is there, crown rump length we can remember in embryonic abortion. In anembryonic abortion you can remember the gestational sac's length. So one difference between them, there will be no sac, no embryo. In embryonic, even if it is there a sac, but no cardiac activity. Now see, another types of abortion which we are going to see is a kind of a complete abortion, a kind of a threatened abortion, a kind of a inevitable abortion, incomplete abortion, and one more thing is your missed abortion. So we have seen two things already, that is your spontaneous and recurrent abortions. The another two abortions which we have seen, that is your anembryonic and embryonic abortion in terms of ultrasound guidance. By the history we are taking from the patient and by the help of the ultrasound guidance, we can able to clearly know whether the which kind of abortion it is. This kind of complete, incomplete, threatened, inevitable and missed abortions comes under the patient's history, how they are presenting with the complaint. So this is also very important to understand, because nowadays at least two questions are asked, or at least one question might also can be asked in your further exam. So abortion is also one kind of a clinical related question and the concept to be remembered, because nowadays many kind of cases are being presenting in these conditions. So see what happened in the threatened abortion. What happens in threatened abortion? Vaginal bleeding is there, but if you see your period of amenorrhea and the fundal height both will be equal. See, during your per-abdominal investigation, the fundal height which we palpate and see, and the period of amenorrhea by the patient or a female, when they are saying about the last menstrual period, that would literally coincide, even if they give a complaint of vaginal bleeding. So that is one of the things which we can see in threatened abortion. In inevitable abortion, see, the internal os is open and there is a membrane rupture. See, importantly, membrane rupture will be there, cervix will be dilated, and there will be bleeding over there. That is also important, which shows inevitable abortion. So apart from that, here there is an incomplete abortion where half of the part of the ruptures membrane along with the placental things are also expelled halfly. So this shows about your incomplete abortion. So literally seeing all the things above, what we can say? Yes, what we can say about threatened abortion? See, during per abdomen investigation, your fundal height will be equal to your period of amenorrhea. This is nothing but how the last menstrual period, the date which is given by the patient, we could able to find the period of gestation, the total weeks, that and the per abdomen investigation will be same. So these weeks will be same in your per abdominal investigation when we are doing, right? So after while doing this investigation, if suppose there is a complaint of bleeding, vaginal bleeding, the patient would complain, that will also be there. And one more thing, internal os is closed. That is very important. So what we have seen in threatened abortion, internal os is closed. Then how could you manage this patient? Management is just conservative, that is bed rest. Or else the next step which you can do is you can give progesterone. So that is the least thing which you can do. Usually progesterone is not recommended, but extreme cause we can give progesterone. So bleeding will be there, and the internal os when we are doing per vaginal examination, this is PV. PV means per vaginal examination, internal os is closed, and during per abdominal examination you can find the coincidence of the period of gestation and the fundal height will be equal. So this is how you can remember. The next one is your inevitable abortion. So what you can say about inevitable abortion? See, in inevitable abortion, during per abdomen investigation, you can see fundal height is less than your period of gestation or period of amenorrhea. Both is same. In per vaginum examination, the same thing which we can see, internal os is open. Okay, yes. So what you can, how can you manage if the patient is still complaining about bleeding? You can do suction and evacuation. Suction and evacuation. Clear? So this is how you can manage the patient if they are coming with a complaint of inevitable abortion. They'll not say that they are having inevitable abortion. By the complaints of them, by doing per abdominal examination and per vaginal examination, you should come to the point that this is the management you are going to give for the patient as well. So if you see, the os will be open and there will be bleeding, but if you see here, the os will be closed. Okay, so that is the difference. Even sometimes there will be spotting will be there in threatened abortion, and here bleeding will be there. So in third one, what we are going to see is incomplete abortion. So please find the difference between everything. Incomplete abortion. What we can say about incomplete abortion? See, per abdomen, easily we can find same. Fundal height will be less than period of amenorrhea or period of gestation. Then one important thing, they will give a history. What history? They will give a history of expulsion of some products in bleeding. So this is how they can give a history. If the patient is giving a history of before there was a bleeding, too much of bleeding, there were some products being expelling in the bleeding. This history she might be giving for sure in incomplete abortion. Then if you do per vaginal examination, then internal os is also opened. Okay, so what you can do, the treatment or the management for this patient is same, suction and evacuation. Okay, so the next abortion which we can see is our complete abortion. Okay, complete abortion. So what does it happen in complete abortion? In per abdomen will be normal. Please remember question, the per abdomen, if you palpate the abdomen and see, the uterus will be very normal. And during per vaginal examination, so per vaginal examination, internal os is closed because all the bleeding have came out. So the internal os is closed obviously. So that is coming under internal os is closed, which is coming under the complete abortion. Please remember. And during management, what you have to do? You have to just reassure the patient. Reassurance is done. So she will be complaining of all the products, too much of bleeding, everything. When you do para-abdominal examination, if it is normal and the internal os is also closed, then that comes under complete abortion. Totally the abortion is done. So one more abortion which is left, that is your missed abortion. So what happens in missed abortion? She has missed because of she is asymptomatic. Okay, because she is asymptomatic. So what she can give a history of dirty brown discharge. Why this is a kind of a dirty brown discharge in missed abortion? Please remember, due to thromboplastin. Okay, so whenever there is a bleeding, whenever there is a rupture, after every bleeding comes on without any symptoms, and final on you will be having a dirty kind of a discharge, that is because of your thromboplastin. And what happens in per abdominal investigation? In palpation you can see fundal height will be less than your period of amenorrhea, and in per vaginal examination you can see internal os is closed. So please remember, in three conditions I have said internal os is closed. One is your threatened abortion, another one is your missed abortion, and another one is your complete abortion. Right? So these all the things where only internal os is closed, rest of all the abortions internal os will be open. So how can you manage this patient? Literally by suction and evacuation. If already the whole abortion is done, then no need to do anything, just reassure the patient. If the half of the bleeding is done and still it is bleeding and the ruptures are there, then you have to do the complete suction and evacuation. So see, in one more question which is being asked in your exam is, syphilis infection can cause. Syphilis infection can cause. What they can cause? They can cause abortion. More than that, they can cause stillbirth. Stillbirth means the baby will be born, die. So, abortion. Okay. So, syphilis infection can cause stillbirth kind of a condition more than your abortion. So, syphilis is also been asked already. So, here there is a question. A young lady presents with a history of amenorrhea of 12 weeks. See, 12 weeks. Pain in the lower abdomen she complains and bleeding per vaginum. On examination, it is of 12 weeks size. So, see, per abdominal examination is 12 weeks. So, she is also saying she is pregnant or gestational weeks is of 12 weeks and per abdominal investigation is also 12 weeks. Internal os is closed. Please remember, internal os is closed. And bleeding per vaginum is present. What is the most likely diagnosis? So, bleeding per vaginum is present. Internal os is also closed. And your fundal height and your period of gestation is equal. So literally it is a kind of a threatened abortion. Why don't you go with the complete abortion? Because they said 12 weeks is equal to 12 weeks, but in your complete abortion the per-abdominal investigation will be completely normal. So that's why we are going with an option of threatened abortion, right? The next question is simple question, you can easily able to understand. When a fetus is dead without warning signs and it is not expelled outside the uterus, it is when a fetus is dead. See, the fetus is dead without warning signs. So there is no signs, no warning, mother is not having any symptoms. So and it is not expelled outside, it is still inside the mother's womb. So it is a kind of a very simple answer, missed abortion. Very simple, missed abortion. Clear? So no signs, bleeding is there, but from uterus it is not expelled out, it is a kind of a missed abortion. Blighted ovum cannot be there because it will be considered when there is ultrasound guidance. Now, which of the following is false regarding complete abortion? See, complete abortion means what are all the conditions would be there? Just think about them. And what can be possible? See, what's the first option? Uterus is smaller than period of amenorrhea. Is it possible? It can be possible, but most probably in complete abortion uterus will be normal. Cervical os is open, it will be open, just think about it. And cervical os is closed. Period of amenorrhea is more than your uterus size. It could never be possible in complete abortion. Sometimes it is possible, but just confirm with other options. The most good probable answer is cervical os is closed. Okay, so this is all about your concept of abortion, and some more clinical questions we have given and we have discussed as well. These all types of abortions are very important. They are not going to literally ask you the definition, or they are not going to ask you what is the per-abdominal investigation of this patient. They will never ask, but still they will ask you in the manner of clinical cases, by which they give some kind of a clues which all we have been discussed in the point of abortion. So these are all the clues which we have given, and by the help of these clues and by the help of our knowledge which we can understand from the question, from the complaints of the patient, from the history of the patient, we can able to predict the answer for sure. So these are all the questions, some questions and some discussions we have done about all kinds of abortions. Moreover, all the abortions are covered. In the next discussion, we'll be seeing some points about the most common second trimester abortion, that is your cervical incompetence, and many other important question discussion and important topic discussion we'll be doing in further sessions, right? So till then, thank you. If any doubts, you can ask me in any platforms, either in the YouTube or in the Telegram platform. Thank you.